Hey, what's up? Back for another one. So let's get right to it. Hardware sales versus software sales. There's an argument that could be made for both paths in tech sales. Making a decision about which path to take can be difficult due to the fact that there's several factors that you'll need to sift through before you come to that conclusion. Obviously, earning potential is a major factor to consider, but what about the not so obvious factors? Factors like job security, product knowledge, and sales cycle length. They all play a role in your ability to meet sales quotas. By the time you reach the end of this video, you'll know the 4 most important things to consider before making a decision between hardware sales and software sales. That includes which one has the highest earning potential, as well as I'll show you a community of B2B sales professionals that you can join today to level up your skills while connecting with the future tech sales employer of your choice. Before I get into it, like this video and subscribe to the channel so you can get new videos every week that'll show you how to use the tech industry to fund the lifestyle you truly deserve. Okay, so I'll start off by defining the two. Obviously, software sales is about selling software. Specifically, these are solutions for businesses that have an urgent need. An example of this would be using ERP or enterprise resource planning software for real-time views or data exports based off the latest business information. On the other hand, hardware sales is about merchandising, distributing, and selling computers, networking equipment, and related paraphernalia to businesses with a deficiency in hardware infrastructure. Selling in either arena requires emphasis in operating as a consultative seller. That means your sales approach is based on you using product knowledge to help customers pinpoint their needs and then matching them to the right solutions to close the deal. Let's talk about the first thing you should consider: job security. Okay, so profit margin is the difference between how much money you make from selling a product and how much it costs to produce or purchase that product for resale. The profit margins for hardware sales are typically much lower than those for software sales. It's not uncommon for hardware margins to be in the single digits. Hardware is a physical product that needs to be manufactured or purchased before it can be sold. That's a direct cost. With software, you might be selling just a license to use the application, an application that may be hosted in the cloud. Due to the economies of scale that exists in cloud, the cost to maintain that application is proportional to the amount of customers using it. In other words, as your customer base increases, the additional operating costs are supported by the additional revenue from those additional customers. A high profit margin gives software vendors a better chance to survive a tough sales quarter and empower account executives to offer deep discounts in order to close the deal. As of the time of this recording, it's very likely we're going to enter a recession. Going into a recession, would you rather work in hardware sales where there's a chance that your employer has a small profit margin to work with? If sales aren't doing too well, will they fire you? Look, sales is always going to be a performance-based industry, but low profit margins may affect your ability to offer approved discounts. Discounts can be a necessary evil. Sometimes you have to give something to compel a customer to buy. An occasional discount here and there can be the difference between you meeting sales quotas or getting fired. Moving on to sales cycles. The sales cycle length is the amount of time from your first contact with a prospect to closing the deal, averaged across all sold deals. The longer the sales cycle, the longer it takes to get paid. Depending on the product and the industry vertical, hardware sales can get you paid faster than software sales. Physical hardware products can have either short or long sales cycles depending on their price. The sales life cycle of software sales is typically long, regardless of product cost. The software sales cycle tends to be more complex compared to hardware sales because of license agreements and assurances on customer training. The customer wants to make sure they have all the resources in play to utilize so they know how to properly configure and troubleshoot the software. They should also involve the legal team to review the license agreement before signing it. Their goal is to get adequate protection in case the software provider goes out of business or the software doesn't perform as the provider or you said it would. The bottom line is this: hardware sales will be more likely to get you paid faster than software sales. Another factor to consider is product knowledge. In software sales, product knowledge evolves. It doesn't stay stagnant. This is because business applications undergo updates and upgrades far more regularly than physical products. You need to be aware of this and be ready to talk about each of these changes in depth. That means knowing why the updates were made and what noteworthy features were affected. You still have to know your stuff for hardware. It's just that the physical updates to hardware are less frequent. Hardware firmware updates are a little bit more frequent, but they typically focus on safety patches and device functionality. All right, so let's talk about the money. You can make a lot of money in either domain. However, I have some numbers to point out which lane has a higher earning potential. So let's take a look. There's a website called bravado.co. It's a community of B2B sales professionals that you can join to level up your skills and connect with the best sales employers. There are several resources you can use to help with job searching on that site, as well as interviews and mapping out your career in tech sales. I want to focus on one particular blog post they have. It's called Top 10 Highest Paying Sales Jobs in 2022. The blog post is a quantitative assessment of the top 10 sales jobs with the largest compensation packages. According to Bravado, they analyzed over 10,000 sales salary data points to determine how much the top sales reps in the US earn and which companies are writing these sales reps the big checks. The figures in this report represent the averages for each position listed. Now, just for reference, the payout is referred to as the compensation package. The compensation includes 3 items: base salary, commission at 100% of quota, and signing plus stock bonus. According to their numbers, the highest paid tech sales job on average for 2022 is a Google Cloud field sales representative at the L7 level. The average compensation for this role in 2022 is $448,202. But what's interesting to note is that only 1 out of the top 10 jobs listed could be categorized as hardware sales. And that's the Dell Global Account Executive role, with a total compensation at $370,000. The takeaway from this salary breakdown is simple. You can make a lot of money in either software or hardware sales, but based on the data provided by Bravado, there are more opportunities to make the most money in software sales. Oh, and one more thing about enterprise software. Not only do you get paid when you close the sale, as long as the client pays the maintenance, you're eligible for recurring commissions off the original deal. So let's review. When it comes to tech sales, you can make a lot of money in either hardware or software sales. However, the highest paying jobs are typically found in software sales. This would indicate that if you go the software sales route, you'll find more opportunities for higher earning jobs. This is likely due to the complexity of the software sales cycle and the need for customer education and training throughout the process. Now, keep in mind, due to the frequent application updates and additional customer education, software sales requires more product knowledge updates on your part and a longer sales cycle compared to hardware sales. With hardware, you have faster deals. That means you get paid faster. With software, you have to spend more time staying up to speed with what was changed and why. You want to be able to speak with intelligence if asked by a customer to explain any new changes in the application. Finally, it's important to remember that hardware margins are typically much lower than those for software products. We're most likely entering a recession, and I'd feel more comfortable starting my career in sales with a company that has a little fiscal room for an economic downturn. So if you're looking for stability in these uncertain times, working in software sales may be the better option. If you're interested in getting started in tech sales, learning your career options, and mapping out a career path in tech sales, I posted a video called Tech Sales Career Path Breakdown with Salaries. Check it out so you can get a better idea as to what it takes to map out a career path to success in tech sales. Thanks for your time, and if you can, subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your podcast directory of choice. And remember, success is a choice.